Hey everybody, Zyle here, back with another episode of Frostburgers Not Included. This is another update on how things have been going with the base, and I hope that you enjoy how things are progressing. If you've been following along with this series, or if it's the first video that you've watched, I also make some interesting guides about various things I do. You can check those out on my channel, and I would love it if you enjoy the content that you consider subscribing. I have 6 subscribers now, and that's just great. Well on our way to the goal of having a total of 10 subscribers as my first benchmark. Also, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Feel free to comment, give me any feedback that you want. I'm always happy to hear suggestions. I may not use them, but I'm trying to perfect my game to the highest level, because I'm playing on max difficulty all the time going forward. And once I've done all the achievements on max difficulty on the hardest Asteroid, I will start another video series, and I'm also starting to look for suggestions as to what that might be or look like. I'm not quite sure yet. So speaking about the hardest Asteroid, when you start the game up and you choose your starting Asteroid, the radioactive style Asteroid, I think it's like the last one on the list, is considered the hardest start. I disagree with that. I don't think it's the hardest start. It doesn't present you with any heat issues right off the bat, or cold, no temperature issues right out of the gate. And it boasts a few features, at least on every time I've ever played on an Asteroid. I seem to always find the same features. So I think the Asteroid is kind of static in a lot of the what's wired in that's going to be there. So the things I have noticed, and if I am wrong about this, I apologize. But the first thing is, I always have found there's a radioactive cold core before you hit the deep magma. This has a massive advantage because it's going to have beta hives in it, which means that you're going to be able to get Saturn critter traps set up, and you are going to have essentially an unlimited supply of fuel for hydrogen generators. As you can see here, I'm up to 130 plus kilograms of hydrogen. Now, I am finally at the point where I think I am using as much hydrogen as 24 plants will generate. At least that's my impression. I'm not sure why this one has harvest ready. So it hasn't been harvested, and I believe it can't capture a critter until it does. So maybe it'll fall off on its own eventually. I don't pay much attention. So this just provides you with now, of course, you need to get to the point where you can get in here and set it all up, and you have to be able to handle the cold temperatures. And then once you are in here, you will have to cool it, because you'll have to have some pumps and so on inside the base, and there's going to be some heat leak. But as long as you actively cool the main core, you will have no issue. As you can see, it's almost looks like it's getting dangerously close. But I can tell you it's been at -3 on the baseline here for at least 500 cycles. So the cooling system keeps it where it needs to be, even though up here it's at like 9-10 degrees at the top. This never really falls off. And you could also contain it tighter as well. Certainly if I had to, I could lock off this and be working more directly into it and really forcing the cooling issue. But it works. It's not broke, so why fix it? Obviously when the bees finish mining everything out, then I will consider closing it off and making it a more tight system and delivering uranium to them. So that's feature number 1 of this map that makes it easy mode, in my opinion. You have an unlimited power source. Secondly is, it always seems to come somewhere on the map with a polluted water vent, which is an excellent source of water. And polluted water comes out of these vents at 30 degrees Celsius, which is also exceptionally good. Most water geysers output at either cold temperatures or very hot temperatures and need to be tamed and controlled in some respect. This is kind of like usable water. You just have to clean it. Now, it is very germy, as we all know, but that's not an issue. If you're not using it for food, you don't care. If you're not using it for oxygen, you don't care. And you can purify this very easily. The solutions to purify this is quite simple. That I use. Just your standard chlorine chamber goes into the vats. Right, and the last one will always be clean, and it outputs, and then I just simply clean it if I need it to be pure water, or I send it off to just be used for whatever the dirty water is necessary. So you always get one of those. Then you also get every time I play, I always get a cool salt slush geyser. Okay, so this is an excellent source of cold water, which you do need. You need some source of cold water. It makes the early game a lot easier when it comes to usable cooling solutions. As you can see, my base, because the plants are all looking fine, it's fairly it's fairly temperate in here. No real issues. Even this area, which gets a little bit high, it maintains itself to where it's a reasonable temperature. Then it also comes with a hot salt, or like a saltwater geyser, which outputs at 95 degrees. You can pair this up with this one. Do what I do is water mixing and balance the temperature. But the fact that you get these three geysers, it seems every time this map, along with the hydrogen power source thing, does make this map quite an easy start overall. I've never really had now. My settings had like active volcano stuff, so I did get these very hot patches, but that's not always on the map. That's just a feature of the settings of what I randomly came up with when I was starting the playthrough. So it also has radioactive crust. I believe that means that then the meteor you get spaced out is always radioactive. Okay, so you're constantly delivering me uranium ore, which I'm going to need endless amounts of to fuel these one day if I ever tap too deep into this a ridiculous amount of hydrogen. So it's a kind of infinite power system just basically built into the map. So those are my thoughts on the starting map as being quite an easy start. So I think in my next playthrough, when whatever I decide to do for the next hard challenge, I'm going to have to pick a different planet. This one, it just honestly now, especially with my experience with it, it makes it too easy. Anyways, we're moving quite along quickly with all the achievements. Unlocked a few more. This is the remains of my smooth hatch ranch, which I was using to get the refined 10 tons of metal achievement. Now I focused on one of the most hard ones to achieve, which is you need to drill. We'll look at that achievement real quick. It's basically using the space, drilling out mines. Let's see where it is. No, it's further down. Here it is. Mine the gap. You need to mine 1 million kilograms from space points of interest. Now, I am on my way, I would say, but that's one entire drill session that I've made, and I've gotten 20 out of 1,000. So that's a lot of mining, and that one drill tip needs 800 kilograms, I believe, of diamond. And diamond is not easy to come by unless you find it on a map. And in Spaced Out, it is not easy to find. And certainly there was no diamond on this map. So I've had to start getting serious with the power. Just to flip back to the power, everything is hydrogen based. And as you can see, I've expanded it again, one more row of generators. So originally, when I did my calculations about how much output 24 of these Saturn critter traps will make, I had come to the estimate that the amount that they're producing will be enough to run 10 hydrogen generators flat out. Well, I'm feeding these two partially, because they also get some off of the open face Rodriguez, half Rodriguez. But they are taking some of it, and then I have 9 going. So if this power draw that this can produce runs full, flat out, if I was drawing all the power this setup could produce, then I would be using more hydrogen than I have the ability to generate. But I have so much excess, it wouldn't be a problem for quite some time. And I still have 8 Saturn critter seeds. I would just plant more. So I haven't maxed. What I have maxed out though is the amount of hydrogen I can move through a single pipe. All these packets are 1,000 grams. That's basically enough to run 10 hydrogen generators. I have 2 pumps that are feeding it. I can't just add a third because of the size of the packets that move. So if I want to move more hydrogen out of here, if I wanted to have even more, if I start exceeding my current power capacity, I will have to run another set of pumps and another line up and feed some of them off one and some of them off the other. Of course, that is very doable. and very easy for me to wire in if I want to, but it is a consideration that I have finally hit my power peak. And the way that that happens is if the base is operating under normal conditions with the things that are on and off at various times, and I utilize my diamond manufacturing system, along with now I have a Radbolt rocket, as well as if I was fueling the rocket, then the power draw that I am taking out is greater than this system can produce, and very slowly the batteries begin to fall off. They all start to struggle, and the amount of gas coming in is not enough to keep up with everything running. So what I've had to do is pay very close attention to my two systems. This is shut down. I have two switches, so this is set to the wire for cutoffs. So basically, if I want to shut down the power to these generators, the radiation or Radbolt generators, then I just simply flick the switch. And if I want to set this side down, I flick the switch. And so I do that whenever my rocket arrives and needs to be fueled. So that means that if I really want to go a little bit harder on the power, then I am at the point where I will need to not add more generators at this time, but I will need to add more fuel into the system, so a second line. And then eventually probably I will have to try and get another row of generators to squeeze in here, which is not quite possible. So since I've reclaimed this zone, a lot of this stuff is going to actually get moved again. So I can expand this over and add another rocket shaft, because I'm starting to realize I'm going to need 3 rockets. And then this stuff will probably get moved up over here. I'm going to add one more level of a bedroom to add 2 more dupes into this base, and then probably build the internal base activity stuff all in this zone up here. So I'm starting to hit the capacity also of what my base can handle. Moving the rockets over now will cause me to have down to this amount of spacing, not much left to put in, and then this will get filled up with more bedrooms plus a bunch of other stuff. And then majority of it, yes, I could reclaim some of these zones by simply locking it off and draining it and so on, tightening all this up. But the other option is this, which is these heavy heat areas, to start to work on cooling them down and basically coming up with a system to take the heat out, and it can be self-powered, because part of taking the heat out will be to use the heat as power, but basically come up with a system that is going to allow me to cool this down. Cooling in the sense that what I would do is use the excessive hydrogen I have to assist in venting it into space, the heat. So basically allowing the heat to get into the hydrogen and then letting the hydrogen just event into space. Thereby it eliminates the heat. So I need to come up with a system for that will work fairly well and fairly quickly. Another alternative would be to simply build a system where I will dump water into here. It will turn into steam. That's taking heat out of it, and the steam will just, again, flood into space. So I got a couple options to try and get the heat out of this system. So if anyone knows any even better ideas than that are efficient and easy to do, please post a comment, because I would love to hear different ideas. I've never actually tried on any playthrough to eliminate this much heat volume so I can claim the area. Now, obviously, this volcano will have to be locked off. I have no intentions really of using it for anything. I don't need power, and that's all it's good for, in my opinion. But certainly there is a lot of real estate, especially down here where the base could expand over. And then over here as well, I have a small one, not as conveniently located for removing, but it could also be done where I could get this cooled out and gain a little bit of space. This is less than I'm concerned. This I would really like to reclaim, though. So it's going to be a project for later. So anyways, back to the system. So as we can see here, this rocket now has a drill cone. It's actually in space right now, as we can see. I was lucky to find a gilded asteroid field, which has sedimentary rock, which I can use, believe it or not, gold, fullerene, which I'm really happy to have a source of, refined carbon, yeah, that's easy to make, but also a good source. Regolith, I don't care about. It's easy to come by. So mining that has become a huge part of things. I really like that they do an animation here, so you know that the drill, you can quickly see the drill is still okay. Because what happens is you fill a drill cone with 800 kilograms of diamond, and that gets it to 100%, and then it goes in mines, and slowly that drill cone wears out. And when the diamond is all gone, then it stops mining, and you bring it home, emptied out, and you need to put 800 kilograms of diamond back into it. But I didn't have access to gold, so that is a great thing to have. And I didn't have access to fullerene yet. Also, really, really good to have. So this might allow me to get the quantity I need of fullerene to not even have to bother with the water planet to get graphite, because I'm pretty sure graphite equals fullerene, and fullerene equals supercoolant. So that's the mining operation. But to do that, you need diamond. And you need lots of it, 800 kilograms. So let's look at the diamond press, which is the end game device for getting endless, or getting an infinite supply of diamond, basically. Okay, these things require refined carbon. Okay, which again is easy to get. In fact, I'm getting it from mining that that point of interest. But also, you can just take coal and turn it into diamond. And coal is fairly easy to come by. And I'm not using coal for anything else other than refined carbon. But it also needs, I don't know if it says exactly on here. Maybe if I click on this, it does. Yes. It also needs 1,000 rad bolts to make 100 kilograms of diamond. Oh, that is ridiculous. Now, I'm not complaining about it. I think for end game stuff like diamond, it should be hard to do. It should be something that is requires serious setups. Otherwise, everything would be too trivial. So if you imagine these need 1,000 rad bolts to make 100 kilograms, and every time I want to refill the drill, I need 800 kilograms. Then this system, let's turn it back on again. This system needs to produce a lot of rad bolts. Rad bolts are the limiting factor here. So the way that I'm doing it is a design I came up with. I did research trying to find some clever designs, but I know the principles involved, which is you build rad bolt generators and you generate rad bolts into these things. So basically, this has turned into a highly radioactive zone. I could maybe get more in, but I've run out of Wheezeworts. Actually, I haven't run out. I'm also using for the rad bolt engine, but I'm planning on moving these two out of here because I'm making the energy I need quite quickly. I'm going to move these two out of here, and I'm going to move them onto this that will make even more rad bolts. So I'll do that while I'm thinking about it. And we'll uproot these two, and we will plant one here. Put one here, and put one here. And then maybe I'll get, whenever I get a drop for another one. It's all the Wheezeworts I have, but sometimes you get the seeds randomly. So if I happen to get a drop for one of these, then I can fill out the last one. And then the subsequent ones I'll just add back over here. So this, as you can see, if we look at the radiation chart, we are generating a considerable amount of radiation, as well as some comes from space. But I need to build in another one of these so that it will also stream down from here and just add that much more to it. It's not a lot, but it is something, because you can see if I look at this one, it's at 1,500 roughly, and this one's at 1,500. So maybe it doesn't really add that much by opening those doors. I thought it did. I may be hitting some kind of limits. Yeah, so yeah, maybe this isn't blocking that much in comparison, so that I don't really notice a difference. So that's a lot. And what happens is each generator is pointing at its diamond press, except for this one, which fires into this reflector and reflects it down. So 4 of these, which is great because you can feed 4 with a 2,000 watt wire. Works out perfectly. So I've got 2 of them running into there. And then the presses are on a different wire system. And so I can run both of these full out. And by having the Wheezeworts in the center, it's basically giving the radiation to both sides. If you just only had it to one side, or if you surrounded it, you're not quite maximizing it. So now I've got 2 presses going because there's that much radiation. So quite a simple setup, but it works very well. And of course, rad suits. When the dupes come out, they are always wearing rad suits. And the only reason they come over here is either to operate these devices, which is a brief moment, or to add phosphorite to the Weezewarts. So it's not like they spend excessive time hanging out here getting radiated. Because even with rad suits on, if they spend too much time in something like this, they still will get radiation from it. Rad suits aren't like perfect protection. They just they give a buff of like 66% to their radiation resistance. But it's enough that when they go here, they don't get radiated to the point where they would have any sickness or anything like that. So that's the radiation system for generating diamonds. And it works out now that with 2 of them running, I will generate easily the diamond necessary to replace the drill. So that means I can mine nonstop. The rocket comes back, there'll be 800 ready, and off he goes. I want diamond for other things, of course, so I'm trying to make as much as possible, and I'm up to 1,400 plus the guy is mining right now. So I've gotten ahead of it on that. So two of these in a setup like this will satisfy your diamond needs for using the drill bit. And again, the reason that I'm pushing this so hard and why I need a 3rd rocket is because to do the achievement, a million kilograms or 1,000 tons is a considerable amount of mining to do. It's also an excellent source of resources. The limit, though, is the range of the rocket. So I've been really toying around with that. So I have a Radbolt rocket as well, and I'm using that for, right now, exploration. And I just had sent him here so that he could scan out this area. He is finished. We found a rocky asteroid. Not bad. I can always use more copper ore. And rock is, honestly, I do need rock. So that's not a bad one. And it's certainly now another one that if one of these gets mined out and I have to wait for it to regen, then I can, hit this one. The problem is that this one is too far away for that ship to make it. That ship can only go a total of like, I think it's, I forget but it's definitely not that far. I think it's maybe 10 tiles. Can't remember. But it's a steam engine, and that's why. Now, I don't have a source of oil. I don't have petroleum, and I'm not going to do anything crazy to get it. What I do have is excessive amounts of hydrogen and oxygen. So the next step, of course, will be to research, as you can see, hydrocarbon propulsion, which unlocks then getting towards cryofuel. So you can see that I have done everything I need to finally get to here, which we will start. And once I unlock a hydrogen engine, then I will switch to this rocket because the range, I believe, is going to be much higher than a steam engine and maybe even better than a Radbolt. And also, I'm at the limit of Radbolt generation. So I have one Radbolt rocket, which is more of a utility rocket that can have a good range. But for my main hauler, I'm going to have to go to the hydrogen rocket. As well as I'm going to move all this over, readjust things, and get another rocket in, and it will as well be a hydrogen. So what I will probably do is keep these two the way they are, and then work on the hydrogen rocket, and then start seeing what the utilization of the hydrogen rocket can be as far. As well as everyone knows, I want to find the gassy moose because for making brackine, well, I found gases on. It's within range of my Radbolt rocket, so I am planning to take a mission there to basically get a landing pad on the ground, capture some moves, bring them back, and get move farming going from my brackine. The last thing I want to talk about, and I made another video about it, and you can go check that out because it's a very short guide on how to do cuddle pips. I've discovered that cuddle pips are even more efficient overall than pips are. And it was someone on Reddit who suggested it. So I've looked into it, and just you can go watch the other video if you really want to know the in-depth theory of it. But basically, in this ranch setup, which is a 48 tile ranch, so a half ranch, you can get 18 cuddle pips. And you need 2 trees, and pretty much you need to fuel the trees fully so that they can keep up with 18 cuddle pips. Cuddle pips eat more than normal pips. But yeah, and as you can see, they're all happy. 18 of them in here. And food-wise, as long as I see them over 900 calories, then I'm happy. So if I just click on a few of them, we can see that, yes, they are all being fed. And the liquid valve is right here for metering. And I've determined that the number is 11.9 per pip, Cuddle Pip, or a total of 215 to feed 2 trees for 18 pips, okay? This requires brackine, so you will need to have a source of brackine, which I do off my my pinch of pepper nuts. And because it's 18, then that means you're drinking 90 kilograms per cycle. I'm producing 120, so it's more than enough to keep up with one of these ranches. I stopped. I used to have 10 pips in this one. I reduced it back to 5 to accommodate for this. And so the nice thing about Cuddle Pips is they produce a bit less dirt, but they do produce positive dirt. And I'm up over 300 tons of dirt too from this whole system. So dirt is just endless for me. That's not the main concern, it's the meat. So it's more meat into less space. And I am really jammed for space. So switching everything to Cuddle Pips will, especially when I can do a full brackine system, it's basically going to get me a lot of free space to be able to do other stuff. And I don't know what that is, but as these bases grow and grow, we always start getting jammed up for room on spaced out starting Asteroid due to the limits of space that it has. So any way I can reduce the footprint of this is going to be good. The other design that I'm using, though, which is more of a starter design, is this style. And it's the same thing. It's 48 tiles, so a half ranch. And I can get 13 in here. So that means in the space of a normal 96 size ranch, where my other system I had 20, but I had 20 pips requiring brackine. And brackine is very expensive to make with the water, polluted water. Now, though, with double trees, and again, it's not about the trees; it's about the grams per second. It's 11.9 grams per second per pip, no matter how you do it with the Cuddle Pips. But now this setup, which fits into 48 tile, you'll need 2 trees because 1 tree will not be enough. You'll have to meter it out to them equally so that they are producing the required amount. So basically, total again, you've got to feed 2 trees, a grand total of 11.9 grams per second, times the number of pips you have. And so that's what I'm doing here, 155 grams per second. And one thing to note, here's the tree base, here's tree base. Water comes in metered for the amount both are going to require to keep the amount going up. That bridge here to split it evenly. So it goes 50, 50, one way, one way, one way, one way. So that they're both more or less getting the same amount of water. And then the pips have always enough food to keep themselves full. And as we can see, the reason we can get this many in is because Cuddle Pips only require 4 tiles to feel comfortable per pip. And so within the 48, you should be able to get 12. You add a critter condo, which is easy to do, and now you can have 13. So in a single ranch sizing, you can have 26. That is far superior to the 20 that I had with double brackine systems, or the 10 that I have 5 per farm without the brackine systems, right? 5 pips system, 13 pip system, huge difference. So already, even by just doing these ones, which you can see, I am converting everything over to that, and I will continue to do. I need 80, in order to keep up Frostburger demand for 16 dupes, I need 80 pips, Cuddle Pips, active, to ensure that I always have enough. So that's the goal, is to basically have 80 total in here for the amount of dupes I have, with the option, of course, to make it go more if I want to expand the overall system for Frostburgers. I can expand the dupes number just by overproducing meat and overproducing frost buns from sleet wheat, which I am. And then some people eat barbecue. They'll always eat Frostburgers if they can, but some will eat barbecue and some will eat frost buns once in a while. Or, frost buns. I am making the Frostburgers now, and as you can see, the food is not an issue. I have more than enough frost buns because I'm overproducing the sleet wheat. Lettuce is coming in quickly, and the meat is the only reason that the meat is kind of low is because as I was retooling the system, I was allowing them to eat barbecue until I was confident that the Frost burgers were going to now stay in sync to the speed that they're eating. So I actually now can turn off barbecue for the main base. I'll keep it on for my secondary base. And I would assume that at this point, the Frost burgers will hopefully begin to now keep up with the amount they're eating. The fridges only accept Frost burgers, and we'll see how that goes. But I should be pretty much on the Frost burgers and have no food issues going forward. So that's the goal, to balance that so that Frost burgers is the only food that they're ever eating. And I'm anticipating to have, let's see, we should get 26, 52. And then this one is going to be 18, so that's 70. And then here, last one, and we'd be looking at 83. So with the system I currently have without the gassy moose, my footprint for my pip farming will now be this zone, and it does include the teleport input supply thing. So my input will be this zone. And that means that this entire section can be removed and used for whatever I need it for. Perhaps I'll use it for new stuff that I haven't really considered. But most likely what I'll do is remove all the simple non-heat producing apparatuses that we occasionally use, research, etc. I probably am going to just move that all located down in here. As well as I might make a rec room with some video game stuff since I have so much power. We'll see. But this is going to get all taken out and redefined, and this is going to be the meat producing area off the Cuddle Pip system. So that's the plan for the future. Hopefully that I'll have a bunch of that done by the time I make the next video. I'm planning to add another bedroom, going to move 2 dupes from the other world into here, and then generate 2 brand new dupes to caretake on that reverse Silas planet. And then what I do up here, well, I'm going to need room for molecular forages. Like I said, I need to get all this out of here, redo my rocket system. I'd really like to have space for 4 more, so that's getting quite tight. And then a diamond press here. Not sure what I'll do with this. I'm not putting scanners in. They take too much space. I prefer to just, when I hear the asteroids are coming, I just close these. And if I take a little bit of damage in here, my dupes run in and repair it. Big deal. It's just not worth the use of space for the Atmos sensors and all that. Every now and then I open these doors up. I mine all this out. They repair the tiles to get injured. I do want to replace these all with bunker doors or with metal tiles to fully give it some more protection. So anyways, that's the plan for the future and everything that I more or less have updated and changed within here and where I'm at. Things are going well. I did find an artifact, this lovely egg shaped it's called. I think it looks pretty cool. So, I also have in this one, a archaic tech. Those are the only 2 ones I've got so far. I do want to fill all these up though eventually, make the base kind of, have a pleasant feel to it. Continue my goal of having just amazing decor as much as possible. Working on removing some of the piping in here, so this will all light up nicely. Arbor trees certainly give a nice decor bonus, and of course their living areas are quite good. This zone has turned out nice, not that they go in here too often. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.